Commercial sunscreens have done an amazing job at marketing their products, and so much so that it seems that we have a vitamin D deficiency epidemic going on. Now, one of the things that we don't really worry about so much with wearing commercial sunscreens is getting sunburn because there is UVB protection. But we don't have the UVA protection to protect us when we wear commercial sunscreens from some of the superficial skin cancers like squamous cell carcinoma and basal cell carcinoma. What the chemical sunscreens do is that they absorb the UV rays and then they create free radicals. And so when we're exposed to the sun with some of these chemical sunscreens, what happens is that sometimes the sun makes the chemicals carcinogenic. So we could get skin cancer from wearing the chemical sunscreens. The other thing that happens is when these sunscreens are applied on our skin is that the sun, when it hits these chemicals, sometimes makes the product so that they're inactive anyway. Now, one of the things that I want you to know about is that it's not safe to wear them with insecticides, so stay away from that. The other thing to be cautious of is what some of the ingredients are in some of these chemical sunscreens. So I want you to know about retinol palmitate because that's in many of the chemical sunscreens, the commercial sunscreens. And what they did a test on rats and they put it on their backs and then they put the rats in the sun. And guess what happened? The rats got tumors all over their backs. Well, the company said, well, this hasn't been tested on humans, but I don't know about you. I don't want to be one of the test subjects. I'd just as soon not put that on my skin. Other things that are in the commercial sunscreens are things like mineral oil, which is petroleum, also parabens. Sometimes they even put mercury and lead and aluminum, and they've got propylene glycol or ingredients that are in in antifreeze. Another thing that I want you to be aware of are the nanoparticles. Many of the chemical commercial sunscreens use nanoparticles because they don't want the products to look white and they absorb easier that way. Well, what happens is it crosses the blood-brain barrier and you end up with it in your brain, and I don't want to feed my brain all these chemicals, and you probably don't either. So what do? Well, first of all, you want to get some vitamin D. You want to get some natural, healthy amounts of vitamin D, and the best way to do that is to be in the sun. Well, one of the things that might surprise you is when to be in the sun, because we've been told for so long to stay out of the sun in the middle of the day. We hear that from our dermatologists, we hear it from the estheticians, and we hear it from the marketing on television. But between 10 and 2 is when the angles of the sun and of the rays of the sun are such that that's what creates the vitamin D on our skin. So we need to be in the sun between 10 and 2, but only for 20 minutes, unless you're dark-skinned. If you're dark-skinned, you need to be in the sun longer than that, about 3 times as much, so about an hour. Some experts even say up to 2 hours. And for it to be effective, obviously you don't want to wear sunscreen. You might want to wear a hat or something to cover your face, but you want to expose yourself as much of your body as you can to make the vitamin D, because I bet you didn't know that vitamin D can actually protect us from cancers like prostate cancer and breast cancer and colon cancer. So it's a healthy thing to get our vitamin D. Now, you might ask, well, what do I do if I'm going to be in the sun for longer than 20 minutes? Well, you can wear protective clothing and you can wear a hat, or you could sit in the shade and maybe eat some apples and watermelon, because those are known to protect us from the sun also. But the main thing that I want to talk to you about is about the natural organic sunscreens, because those are the ones that you can wear and be healthy about. What they do is they reflect and they scatter the sun's rays. Their zinc oxide is one of the main ingredients. It's a favorite. But you know, it's that white goopy stuff that the lifeguards used to put on their noses. And a lot of people don't like to wear white on their skin. And so what's happened with the commercial products is that they nanoized it to make it so that it doesn't look so white. But what the natural companies do when they use zinc oxide is they mix it with other things that are healthy, that help to scatter the sun's rays, like emu oil. They also use green tea and things like vitamin C and so forth. So there are healthy ways that you can protect your skin, and you want to also look for non-nanoparticles or non-nanoized, or when it says no nanoparticles, that's what you have to look for. And you have to remember also that there's no regulation by the FDA, and that's why it's good that you're learning this. Titanium dioxide is a popular ingredient in many sunscreens. It's also in many makeups and things. But in titanium dioxide, just like zinc oxide, also block you from getting the UVA and the UVB. However, recently there was a study done that showed that workers that worked around titanium dioxide powders and particles developed lung cancer. So you don't want to wear titanium dioxide in a loose powder form. There are some sunscreens that come out in a powder. As far as using titanium dioxide in lotions and things, I don't know about you. I just as soon avoid them, but it's your choice because they didn't do the study on that. I have a personal skincare product list that's on this page if you click on it, and I have listed a couple of sunscreens that have the zinc oxide and some of the other healthy ingredients that don't have the titanium dioxide if you're interested. And SPFs I wanted to tell you about for a minute is you don't need an SPF over 20 or 30 because over that it's mostly just a marketing ploy, and it doesn't really do anything after 30 anyway. So that's another thing just to know about, because it's more about a competition between the companies. So just to summarize, you only need 20 minutes in the sun a day between 10 and 2, and after that to wear the natural sunscreens and cover up with your hats and your protective clothing. And if you want to learn more about it, I would recommend that you go to Beth Greer's book, Supernatural Home. In fact, I think she even has a recipe in there on how to make your own sunscreen. And also Stacy Malkin from Not Just a Pretty Face, the inside of the beauty industry. So go have some fun in the sun.